What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're going to talk about why you should maybe start considering building up your Punisher and also your Dr. Octopus. So throughout this video we're going to talk about Season 3 of Cosmic Crucible, some of the changes that we have on the rooms, and some of the biggest problems that we might have in the near future, and how once again we are going to have a favorable environment for whales. Yes, if you thought whalestones were bad, wait until you heard about whale rooms. Okay, so once again throughout this video we're going to talk about Season 3, specifically what the new rooms are all about, and what you can expect, or which characters you can expect to use in each of those rooms, and some interesting combinations that we'll be taking a look at in the near future. So as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about the Season 3. So we have information for the Season 3 on the blog of last Friday, on the Solar Flare blog, and all the way down here we have information not only about Season 3 but also the Tournament 32. But the Tournament 32 is other topic. It's something that we'll talk about in other time, because we need to have information about the next patch before we can make good theory crafting about this Ultimate Tournament 32. Okay, now in terms of the Season 3, you can see right here, we have to push more down. Season 3, it will happen after the Tournament 32, and we have similar rules to what we had in the past. More specifically, we had some nerfs to Gamma. Then in terms of the other rooms, we no longer have those empty rooms without any rules, Room 1 and Room 2. Now even those rooms are going to have rules, but unfortunately the room 1, 2, 3 and 4, they were pretty much copy-paste from the previous season. So they are almost copy-paste. There are just minor changes to them, but it's not a big deal. Now in terms of Room 5 and Room 6, that's where we start to have some problems, and specifically on Room 5 and even maybe even more on Room 6. We have this environment for whales that is great for them. It's going to make sure that they win as much as possible, because let's be honest, both Room 5 and Room 6, some people are excited for that because it's not copy-paste from the previous season. But if you really think about it, these rooms, they only favorable whales, because some of the characters that we are going to use here, they are not super convenient to gear up. For example, raid characters, you never want to overgear our raid teams, because your raid teams, they have a small shelf life, usually 1 year, and even 1 year sometimes is a stretch. And then we have this Room 5 that is so ambiguous that the more resources you have to invest on new characters, the better it will be for you, because of course you can plug and play here any kind of teams and make them work. Okay, so let's go into more detail. Usually on every season of Cosmic Crucible I make a map like this, where I display which of the defensive abilities and offensive abilities we are dealing with, so it's more clear to see exactly. Because when you take a look at this, many times the way they wrote this is not exactly how it works in game. And especially, I think it's on the Wakanda room, there are a few things that I mentioned here. No, it's on the Tangle Web. So on the Tangle Web room, there are things here that in game you interpret them in a different way, and it works on the way in game, not on the way it was on the blog. So yeah, it's better to break down exactly it's better to break down exactly everything that which room does. Okay, so in yellow we have the defensive buffs. On blue we have the offensive buffs or debuffs, and in terms of green text, it's positive effects for defense or for offense, and on red text is negative effects for offense or defense. So keep that in mind as we go throughout this. Okay, so once again we have magical disruptions, and this was pretty much the same thing we had on last season. We still have 20% more health and damage for all characters on defense. We still have on defense minus 20% speed and resist for all cosmic villains. But this is not a big deal. If you take a look at the cosmic villains that we have right now, we have Hela, we have Loki, we have Dormammu, Ebony Maw, and Strange Supreme. This is why we need more information, not only about this upcoming Season 3 and the upcoming patch, but also to make decisions on what exactly we're going to use in these rooms. Because the characters that we have as meta right now is Strange Supreme and Hela plus Dormammu. Those are the 3 characters. The other characters, they don't really matter. So this room, it's search for... and even if you think about it, even for Dormammu, it doesn't make sense because he spawns with immunity. So yeah, so the only 2 characters that are really getting nerfed is Strange Supreme and Hela. Now, there are rumors, supposedly, from our interpretation, the Black Order is going to get a rework. So it might happen that Thanos and Ebony Maw will also be very good on Cosmic Crucible defense, because they are at least going to be good on Alliance Wars defense. Is this going to be fact or not? We have to wait and see until the patch for see to the final results, if it's going to be the case or not. But right now, the speed reduction and the resistance reduction is not a big deal. On defense, Mystic characters get bleeds in the face. Once again, Dormammu, he has immunity. Hela, whenever Greg dies, she also gets regeneration, so it stops the bleed. So the only character that is really affected by this is Strange Supreme. And we are not even using him on defense. We are usually using him on offense. He still gets the bleeds, but it's not a big deal in my opinion. Okay, so beyond that, we have Gamma and Darkhold on defense, and also on offense they have 10% less stats. 10% is not a big deal when we are talking about some of the best teams in the game with huge stats in terms of health, resistance, focus, and damage, so it doesn't really matter. Now, in terms of offense, we have Masters of Evil cosmic villains get 10% speed and resistance, so once again, this is not affecting that many characters, and many times the characters it affects, it's actually beneficial for you if you build your team properly. And then on offense, on turn, once again, Masters of Evil cosmic villains get 1 bleed. Masters of Evil don't even have cosmic villains, so I don't understand the point of this. They don't have Mystic cosmic villains. They have cosmic villains, just not Mystic cosmic. So once again, these rules, like, who are they supposed to affect? If this was, once again, if this is going to affect Thanos and Ebony Maw, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe Hela, okay, maybe you don't want us to use Hela on defense. Even that, it would actually be a good thing with with the creeping spiders, but anyway, I guess the developers didn't notice that. But is it just for Strange Supreme? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyway, let's close this chapter on the Mystic situation. Let's talk about the other rooms. Okay, so portable shield device, we have pretty much the same thing on defense and or offense. Characters with Striker Eyes Await will get a 5% barrier and flip offense down into defense down. They'll flip offense down into offense up, sorry. And on defense, characters with Fortified Eyes Await will spread buffs for adjacent allies. One character that we have been using here for quite a while is Zemo. He's quite decent on defense, even that he doesn't have the stats to hold on, but it's okay, he still does something on this room. This room was recycled from room 3 of the season 2, so this is one of the problems. People were not super excited about the rooms repeating, but I'm gonna be honest about it. With all the reworks that we are getting, a lot of these rooms will get more value, because people are just making conclusions based on the roster that we have now. We already know that we have multiple teams going to get a rework next patch, and we have at least 2 or 3 new teams coming next patch, or at least part of 2 or 3 new teams. So even that, yes, the rooms are the same, there will be huge changes coming to the meta. Now, something that I really don't believe that will have any change to the meta is the resurrection protocols on room 2, which is recycled from room 4 on season 2. On defense and on offense, hero mutants will spawn with 1 immunity and 1 revive 1. So we have seen this, it's great for unlimited, it helps unlimited on defense and on offense. As always, it's preferable on defense because they also get the extra damage and the extra health. Beyond that, do I expect any kind of new teams here? Not really. I don't think there will be any mutants reworked next patch. So yeah, it's gonna be, this one is the only one that I really think is pretty much copy-paste with no changes being applied to this room. Okay, now we have crippling spiders, and this was copy-paste from room 5. Room 5 is now room 3 on season 3. And we have exactly the same situation. The only difference is that now the Spider-Man Noir is farmable. Spider-Man 2099 might be farmable soon as well. And we also have Icarus that is also going to be farmable this patch. So keep that in mind. This is going to be somewhat of a change because it will be more available for a lot more people to maximize their Icarus and put him on defense or on offense. As you guys know, on defense, Eternals count as Tangled Web. Eternals are going to get 20% max health and resistance compared to what they usually have. Tangled Web in stealth will have 20% more damage, and it will apply extra bleeds on each hit. Cersei, if she's an ally and she's with Tangled Web on spawn, they're going to get revived once. And if Icarus is an ally, Tangled Web, which also includes the Eternals, of course, they are also going to spawn with immunity for 2 turns. On offense, characters will have minus resistance, minus 20% resistance if they have any kinds of bleeds. So once again, this is pretty much the same room. The only difference is that we have more farmable characters, so it might feel better for some people to invest on those characters and once again use them in Cosmic Crucible defense. Okay, now we have room 4. Room 4 is pretty much the same thing. There is only one difference, that is, I'm not even sure if I can find it. There is a situation now that if you kill something, they apply defense down. Okay, so this was a big change to the room. It's actually a big change. So if you see right here, if characters remove charges, instead of applying offense down, they get defense down. So on the previous season, they would get offense down. Now they get defense down if the character removes charges. So this is going to affect mainly the Apocalypse team, any kind of Apocalypse team. This is going to affect our Mamu, this is going to affect Gamma team, any team really with charges that loses charges on defense or on offense. They will be plagued by defense downs, and this was a huge upgrade because once again in the past they had offense down, and it also affects Darkhold because whenever you use the Doctor Strange special to turn rewind the enemies, he gains charges. And if you gain charges, if you lose those charges, you are going to get defense down, and that means that your Morgan Le Fay, your Scarlet Witch and so on are going to be more susceptible to dying. So once again we have a minor change. No one actually noticed this. No one actually noticed this, but see, this is a huge change. We went from offense down on all Darkhold characters whenever they are facing Wakanda to having defense down. So of course that's going to result in way more damage, and that will make less likely for your Darkhold to be able to beat up your Wakanda. Once again, none of the content creators noticed this, but this is a huge change that will completely change the meta in terms of Room 6, which is now Room 4 Vibranium tuning. Okay, now the rooms that I'm a little bit concerned about, that's going to be Room 5 and Room 6, because Whales, they get such a huge advantage with these rooms, because they have more resources to apply on the teams that you can capitalize here. Okay, so on defense and on offense, special abilities cost 2 more, and this is actually wrong. Special abilities cost 2 more, and the other ones cost less. The ultimates cost less. So this is green, the other is red. It was the opposite color, because minus is better and plus is worst. Now, in terms of characters that you could use here, you could use here Apocalypse, very strong. You could use Apocalypse and Dr. Octopus. Can you imagine? You are applying trauma to the enemies and you are extending that trauma. What about Omega Red? Omega Red, Dr. Octopus, Apocalypse, are you kidding me? Wow, that's gonna be a massive defense or offense. It really depends, because once again we have that flexibility that you can use both on defense and on offense. Now this is once again why the Whales have advantage. It's because they can put whatever trash they want on defense and put whatever trash on offense, and you will always be on a worse position because you don't have enough tools in order to deal with this room. So if you have a big boy Apocalypse, if you have big boy Dormammu or the Dr. Octopus or Omega Red, all of these characters, they are gonna be massive here. If you have 700 stars Dormammu, if you have the Omega Red maxed out, if you have the gigantic Apocalypse applying the trauma right away, you are not going to be able to deal with this situation. This room is going to be huge for whales, and if you're not a whale, you are really going to struggle to clear this because you're going to be slapped very, very hard. You're going to have multiple traumas being applied to you, and you cannot get rid of those traumas. And this room is also great for Quicksilver because Quicksilver has that less energy on his ultimate, and that means that you'll be able to use his ultimate early on as well, which if you combine with the characters I just mentioned, it's going to be massive. So be on the lookout for this room 5. I think people are not very aware of the combinations that you can do with this, and that's why at the beginning of the video I said maybe you should consider gearing up your Dr. Octopus. Okay, now we're going to talk about room 6, and this room 6 is also very, very problematic. So Fated Reunion on defense and on offense as well. If you have Rebirth allies, military characters will get a 5% barrier on turn, and if you have Rebirth allies, symbiote characters will hit and apply bleeds. Rebirth characters will have revive once. Now, some people are thinking that, oh yeah, this is definitely for the Rebirth team. The thing is that on the Rebirth team, you actually don't have that many characters that are... so this is the symbiotes, this is... where is the Rebirth team? Okay, we can go through here. If you take a look at this, the Rebirth team, you actually don't have many military characters. We have a few of them, and that's a big deal because that means that you don't have that many options to use in that room, and we also have certain combinations that you will want to avoid on this room. So Captain Carter, Captain America, US Agent, Winter Soldier, and Agent Venom. Now, some of these characters are military, but not all. So Captain America is military, and Winter Soldier is military. The other characters are not military. Does this mean that we are going to get more military characters in the game with the upcoming patch? Maybe. It would be huge. It would be huge for characters like Captain Carter to have the military tag, and we have tons and tons of other characters that could have the military tag as well, like Invaders, right? Invaders. So we have Punisher right here. He's a military character. We have Captain Marvel. She's also a military character. They are still military, but they are also military. This is the same way that Avengers work and X-Men work with different teams. The base tag is still applied to the characters as well. We also have Killmonger. Do you guys remember Killmonger? Do you guys remember that Killmonger has all these additional effects in Cosmic Crucible? Well, now we could make a Rebirth team with Punisher and Killmonger because literally, why not? Once again, this is going to benefit the whales that have the resources to invest on these trash characters that would not invest otherwise. Captain Marvel, for example, she's going to give more health and more damage to military characters. This is going to affect Killmonger, and once again, if they give more tags to characters like Agent Venom, then Captain Marvel and Agent Venom are going to be a great combo. Of course, Captain America, Killmonger, and Punisher. Beyond that, we have Red Guardian, we have War Machine, we have Winter Soldier. All of these characters have military tags, and it really tells me that we might see some huge influx of military tags being applied to the game, or having some kind of mechanic change that will not be aware at the beginning of the season, but then down the line we will see all these whales with these massive military characters that will cause us a lot of problems. Okay, so once again, let's take a look at these military characters. We have Black Widow, not meta. We have Captain America, Captain Marvel. They are somewhat usable. Killmonger is also usable, depends on the team you set him up with. Red Guardian is pretty decent. Winter Soldier, Punisher. So you could even see evil Captain America set up here with Winter Soldier, Zemo, Red Skull, Red Guardian, and this guy as well. Or we could have with Killmonger instead for more additional damage. This is something that I think is going to be surprising a lot of people with the amount of damage output we can have with these different combinations. Okay, so beyond that, once again, Killmonger is a military character and he has some additional effects in Cosmic Crucible. This does tons and tons of damage, and yeah, I think it's going to be great. Now, beyond that, we had the symbiotes tag open here, and I want to talk about the symbiotes as well, because we have Symbiote Spider-Man, and Symbiote Spider-Man might be a little bit outdated, but he's always a very interesting character. He has abilities to extend negative effects, including trauma and stun, and that means that we could see the return of Symbiote Spider-Man to the meta, because exactly he can apply all these additional effects. And he also applies defense down, which Asian Venom can capitalize on, and he also gives extra health to Asian Venom. So Asian Venom could be a super tank symbiote that also deals tons and tons of damage. Okay, beyond that we have Captain Marvel. As I mentioned before, she gives a bunch of health and damage to military allies, and she also gets additional charges if any ally is military. We could see some additional tags here being implemented as well. Red Guardian, he doesn't have any Cosmic Crucible tags or buffs to military allies, but he has for skilled military, so they might remove the skill part of this and make all these characters military, and that would be a huge change to the meta. It would really blow people's minds away, because it would be such a massive decision. Okay, beyond that we have War Machine. He also has the military tag, but he doesn't have any military bonuses. Then we have Black Widow. She has synergies with Red Guardian, and this is why they should remove the skill military and just make them military to make this more flexible. And finally we have Winter Soldier. Once again, combinations with Captain Marvel, Captain America, Red Guardian and Black Widow would be nice as well, and also Zemo, Red Skull, making some insane combinations. So yeah guys, as you can see, like, this new season of Cosmic Crucible is not as cookie cutter or copy paste from what people were really talking about. There are huge changes that are going to surprise a lot of people. Once again, on that room 4, the Vibranium tuning, now instead of offense down we have defense down. Just that alone will surprise a lot of people, because once again we are using Doctor Strange, he's gonna get charged, and then your entire team gets defense down, and then your Darkhold is going to get destroyed by the Wakanda. So keep that in mind. It's not as cookie cutter as people were saying. It's a lot more complicated, and once again we have a meta with a few rooms that really benefit the whales, because they can implement these extra resources on characters that you would otherwise not do. So yeah guys, that's gonna be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.